Beep 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 beep. Hello. I feel like this is nicer. Yo. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Hello, saying Aurora's and Raven. Nom 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 nom. How are you guys doing? How has the week been treating everyone? Let's get that down a little bit more. It's a bit too loud. Oh. Hello, 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 hello. Rah, 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 rah. Your head hurts a little. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope it get better soon. Yes. Oh. Oh, papa. Num, num, num. What about you, Aurora? How are you doing? Snow should start disappearing. Oh, it's already disappearing. It's already disappearing. Hi, Robin. Oh, good to see you again. Welcome in. Hi, Hummer. You're welcome. Initially, I know it wasn't planned. But, yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since I did, yeah. But, I had a lot of fun last time, yeah. And, I don't know. Yeah. I thought, why not? I have time, I have energy, and I really want to work more in the lore. So, I might as well just fuse those things together, right? Yeah. But, yeah. You were saving. Very good, yeah. 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 Ooh, do we have... I have energy? A little bit, yeah. Not much, but a little bit. It's the type of energy that, like, I want to work on this, right? I'm hyped to do this. I use this specific type of energy for certain things only. So I do a very good job on them. Yes. Yes, long haired is good. I like this. I'm so glad I changed the rig of it as well. Before it was not too good. But yeah. Do you know of the song Ya Ding Dong? I don't think I do. I don't know. Hi. Oh my god, it's like Puppet. Hello. Hello, welcome in. It's been a while since I've seen you. I mean, yeah. Oh my god. Everyone's coming today. Hello. Hi, guys. Welcome. Hello. I hope you guys are all doing great. And everything is good. Thank you so much for snack. But let me see if I have a snack. I guess I'm gonna have another chocolate cat tongue. Oh, hi, Mordecai. Welcome in. Welcome. Ding dong, I know you can hear me. Open up the door. I only wanna play a little. I know who you are, Whistling Puppet. I know who you are. Hi, Paradox. Welcome in. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Oh my god, Clip. Look at you. I forgot to meow. I'm sorry. Nya. Nya. Bonya. Yeah. Hello, Clip. Welcome. You watched it already? Mordecai's a no. No. I bought it even though I don't have any fucking money. Because I wanted to play with you guys. Your order from Dubai? What did you order? You couldn't for this week. To be fair, I couldn't hide from the spoilers. So, I guess. I have no idea what else happens though. All I know from the game is the trailer, and I saw the prototype. That's all. Why green mouth? You've asked this before, and yeah, read the lore or listen to the lore. Yeah, you don't remember. Now you have to read the lore, but lucky you, that's what we're doing today. Quite literally. We literally are doing that today. Just like last time. Hi, Reverie. Welcome in. Beautiful. A prosthetic eye. Oh, you lost an eye a month ago. I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you're... I'm unsure how to approach this. I hope you're coping well? Question mark? Like, I hope stuff is good. Like, you're okay and shit. Yeah. Sorry about my throat, by the way. I'm just not getting rid of that at all. You guys are so sweet. I'm glad to see a couple people back here that have been away a while. You have a Terminator? That's kind of cool though. Like if you ask me, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. I give you that. But yeah, no. We're gonna get some throat coat. Real product, I promise. I could. I'm thinking about going to the nose, throat, ear doctor. What are they called in English? We just call them H and O as like a short for all the German first letters of nose, ears, and all that. Hi, Mass Shadow. I have come to continue listening. Yay! I'm actually really glad you're back. It makes me extremely happy that people are actually interesting. I miss streams sometimes because my sleep schedule is whack, but I like stopping by and chilling. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I kind of thought that if I were to go live now, it would be good for a couple of people due to time zones. So, yeah. Every once in a while, I will do like later streams if my schedule allows it. Thing is, it's 18 right now, which is 6 p.m. And I usually go to sleep around 8 and 9 due to me having to wake up early for, well, feeding the cats at work. So I'd rather not stream in the evening and just relax, have dinner and all that. But every once in a while, you know what? I do that. So I stepped at someone's test stream last night. It was hilarious. They tend to be really fun. And since I have glasses, it'll work like contacts. Oh, that's cool. See, not that bad. I'm glad it's working good. Greetings from almost 11 a.m. from Midwest America. Thank you. Greetings from Germany, almost 6 p.m. Auroras, thank you so much for the sub. And Twitch being late. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that very much. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm really glad there are a couple of people in chat that are genuinely interested in the lore. I'm very happy about it. It kind of motivates me a bit, you know? You deserve it. No, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's really sweet. You know when you get like cuteness aggression and you just want to eat a cat or like bite something? That's what I get with chat sometimes. Where it's like, and I just want to bite. It's an entertaining story. Thank you. That's good. 4K points until German cat, and I'm gonna do that during a talk heavy. Seize demon. Eat a cat. You're a cat. I hope in a say-so way. Anyway. Yes, everybody do exclamation mark cat. We have to figure out who today's munchkin is. Very important. And yes, Lilim, you are mischievous. I forgot what the Devon Rex looks like. I could do German cat and yeah at the same time, but don't do that. Not while I'm reading. My friend, after listening to the lore last time, it gave the urge to wait for the rest of the lore and make my brain go at full capacity. Yeah! Oh, I hope I hope the continuation doesn't disappoint, right? Laid back Persian, Siamese, and an Oriental short hair. Ha, the bot ignored you. How dare. Just do it again, it's fine. You don't deserve it though. You do really good things. Oh, stop! You're so sweet. Stop. Oh man, I wish I could. I'm missing the right word. Not reward, but like sometimes I want to share more of the things that are going on in the. I can. I have Patreon. I just realized I can, but then no, but no, never mind. I finished the thoughts. I'm sorry. Holy shit, there's so much going on in cuteness time. Thank you. Feeling kind of shy. I'm too shy to talk to this girl I talked with the other day. Give her praise. No, don't make me blush. No. Wait. Pray torn Jesus here for a stream. Icarus TTV, welcome in. Hello. What is that? Star. Oh. The magic 8-ball. Oh no, we're doing that again. Gotta go after die. No worries, Cliv. Don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. It's your emote. I love it. I love it. Pretty star. There's so much happening. I'm sorry if I'm not answering to all the messages. Have to see you when I get home. I'll definitely hear for the next 3 hours. That's like a minimum, of course. Decidedly. So, well, it is what it is. No, but what I wanted to say is I really love the community and I wish I could share more of the things that go on in the background. But especially the main project I'm working on right now, I can't share too much because I want it to be like a big thing. Not bigger than the debut, but kind of secrecy to build up like a little bit of like, you know. Will I be able to do the things I want to? Ah, yes. All the loves in the world is what you deserve for the wonderful things you do. And oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Sitting on chaos. You could sit on me, yeah. I'm too small. Terrible. Anyway, I think that's enough talking. Do we go over to reading, writing, and correcting my grammar with various websites because I can't read or write. When I get home, I'll write to her. You should. You should. Don't fear. Don't fear. And correcting. Sorry, grammatic and correcting. Saying weird there last time. Question. I don't remember if you were. We have been basically writing my lore. Not writing. I was reading it and changing things, fixing things, and basically just working on it. Kind of like a live reading. That is not Wattpad. Where is it? It won't show me. This is the wrong tab. Look, it's what I see when... Is it this one? No. Properties. Why not? There it is. Mitskitaza. Yes, I am small. I mean, yeah. No, it is what it is. Where do I put myself? Kind of here? I think kind of here is good. Right. No, I have this lovely website here for for like getting cool words, and I like using DeepL. This is not the proper website. It is, but not this one. Anyway. And I use this one for to correct things. So I go in and see if the words are properly written. Basically. I popped in for the streak, but I was sleepy. That's perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. Editing, yes. I have my lore written, and I'm just basically reading through it and editing it and like trying to figure out if it works and whatnot. You know? Kinda basically. Yeah. I actually do it all on Instagram when I have a character I want to speak on. I just haven't gotten around doing it all. Ooh, interesting. I've made up my mind. I will talk to her when I get home. Wish me luck. You have all the luck in the whole world, my friend. Hi, Puddin. Yay! Thank you guys so much for the hype chain. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. I'm going to... Actually, we read this one already. We stopped at chapter 10, basically. Question is... Yeah... do I put something in the back? I do want background. Will I say put on YouTube by chance? If it lets me, yeah. If it lets me, I will put this on YouTube, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I do have the VOD channel that you guys can always check out. Absolutely. Hi, Victoria. Maybe I'll just put it on really, really silently, and if there's like a moment where I know to put on some good music, I will. Because sleep cuts, yeah, no, go to EPs, you're fine. It's hard finding music, but that's okay. But yes, no, basically, I'm just gonna read this, edit some stuff, and yeah, all of that basically. So last time we stopped at chapter 9. And I'm going to continue. The chapter basically ended with our main character, Bunny said, going to bed and falling asleep. And now I'm going to continue with chapter 10, Dreams and Stories. Wow. I already don't like this. How can I change that? No. I opened my eyes slowly, and is there a cool word for noticed? To notice? To notice. Take notice. No. Looking. And no, like saw. Seeing. And I noticed that I was I opened my eyes slowly and noticed that I stood in the middle of a forest. Of a big looming... Is looming a good word? I think looming is like... distant, later remote. I think looming is good. I opened my eyes slowly and noticed that I... standing? That I... to stand... What to stand? No. Placed. That I opened my eyes slowly and noticed that I stood in the middle of a big looming forest. Dark looming forest. Um, I was surprised that it Jesus was glowing beautiful. Is there a different word for looming? What is looming? Samples? Related words. Destined, imminent, impending, menacing. Threatening? I opened my eyes slowly and noticed that I stood in the middle of a big, dark, looming forest. We'll just call it dark. I was surprised that it wasn't the cozy tavern clearing. That it wasn't the cozy clearing in front of the tavern. Hi, Buckle. Synonyms webly. It was the dead forest from before, cold, grey, and full of bone-white trees. Maybe I'll put this here. I called out. Hello? Anybody there? My voice trembling. From between the mist, two figures appeared. Familiar shapes. Two familiar shapes appeared. I ran toward them, my heart leaping with hope, but the closer I got, the clearer it became. Their skin was ashen. Their clothes were burned and tattered. Their faces were twisted in sorrow. Caitlin, my mother's voice called. Why did you leave us? Leave? Leave us. I took a step back and clutched my chest. No, I didn't mean to, I cried out, stumbling. Behind me another figure emerged. My brother. And behind him my two sisters, my two twin sisters, all burned up and their skin falling off their bones. You left us too, he said, his voice a hollow echo. You left everyone. I was frantically looking around for Macy or even Toxine to come and rescue me, but nobody came. No, I didn't, I shouted, but when I looked down, my own hands were changing, my fingers turning green and all slimy. The mist thickened, swallowing the world around me. All I could hear were their voices calling out again and again. Why did you leave us? Why? Why? Ew. I know, terrible, right? Then I woke up with a sharp gasp, sitting bolt upright in my bed. My heart was pounding so hard it hurt. And sweat clung to my forehead. No, dripped from my chin. Even though the room was cool. For a moment I just sat there clutching the blanket, trying to breathe. A soft knock at the door pulled me out of my daze. Girls? Macy's voice was gentle. Dinner's ready. The door creaked open a little and Macy peeked inside, smiling warmly at first. But the second her eyes landed on me, curled up tightly, my face pale and my breathing still shaky, that smile faded into a look of concern. She stepped inside quickly, closing the door behind her. In just a few strides, she was at my side, kneeling beside the bed. Oh, darling, Macy whispered, brushing my hair back from my face. Her hand was cold and comforting against my burning forehead. What happened? Carefully. I opened my mouth to speak, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I just shook my head, trying to wipe away the tears that had crept down my cheeks. Macy sat down on the edge of the bed, pulling me gently into her arms. Did you sleep? A nightmare? She tried to guess. I nodded, pressing my forehead into her shoulder. Do I like this? She rocked me back and forth a little, like a mother calming a Calming her scared child. You're safe, Katie. Whatever you saw, it can't reach you here, Macy murmured, stroking my back slowly. Petting? Stroking? Right. No. Stroking? Plus, that is not... Nah. Hi, Kitten. Thank you so much for the hug. Approval? Rubbing? Yeah, no, rubbing works. Rubbing my back slowly. There was a long silence where she just held me, letting me breathe her in. She smelled flowery and warm. Do I want Maisie to smell flowery? Mother of the year. No, she is literally. She really, really is. Hi, Tyler. Welcome in. And thank you so much for the head pet. No, Macy's amazing. She's not actually the mother, but lore-wise, Chaos has at least once called her mom on accident. So. Finally, Macy pulled back just enough to look me in the eyes. Listen to me, she said, her voice a little firmer. Bad dreams lie to us. They're not real, okay? Not here. Not here and not now. I sniffled and gave a tiny nod. Yeah, she is basically. Let me see if, where's the latest drawing I did of Macy? Did I put that anywhere? I think I did. Oh yeah, there it is. Hold up. Boom. Nah, for both, honestly. For both. There we go. This was the latest drawing I made of Macy. There. She smiled, planting a small kiss on my forehead. Now, come on. Valerie made her famous mushroom stew. You'll feel much better once you've eaten something warm. My face lit up. I never had mushrooms before. Slowly she helped me up and I followed her, still clutching my tail for comfort. As we made our way downstairs, I noticed that the tavern now was completely silent and cleaned up. All the chairs were inside down on the tables and the floor looked I actually wrote that. This is freshly mopped. No more laughter, music, or clinking plates. Macy took me... Oh god, there's a lot of mistakes. On the back behind. Took me to... Don't eat the mushrooms. They're terrible. I know. We don't like mushrooms. It's fine. I should make that lore accurate, honestly. Because I personally hate mushrooms. I would probably do. Macy took me to the back behind the bar. Valerie and Varkin were already waiting. Let's change that. Where Valerie and Varkin were already waiting for us. Bowls and wooden mugs set out neatly on a huge table. We're already waiting for us. With bowls and wooden mugs set out neatly on a huge table. A delicious smell filled the air, rich, earthy, and a little spicy. My stomach growled loudly. Ah, there you are, Valerie beamed, waving us over. But as we got closer, her sharp eyes caught the way I clung to Macy's side, my tail wrapped tightly around myself like a shield. Her smile softened immediately. "Aw, sweetheart, you look like you've seen a Wendigo," Valerie said kindly, crouching down to meet my eyes. "Come sit by the fire with me, all right? Warm your little hands up. I know it can get cold up in the rooms at night." I need to turn on the light. Hold up. Fucking seizure by the light of fucking Wattpad. I nodded shyly and let Macy guide me into a chair. Valerie took a generous portion of stew into a bowl and set it in front of me with a wink. "Here, love, made with fresh herbs and magic mushrooms. Only the tasty kind, I promise." Oh, that could be considered bad. Magic. And what kind of mushrooms can you eat? Magic? No. Not magic mushrooms. Mm, chicken of the forest? What? What mushrooms are edible? Ooh, herbs and button mushrooms. How about that? Those are easy. How painful it is to see your old writing with all the mistakes. Terrible. Thank God this isn't too old. This is like the fifth time I changed the story. Um, I do still remember how it was back then. I never got further than the both of them meeting Macy in the story. So like what, 3, 4 chapters? I never got further than this. Um I do remember the beginning being insanely different. And Caitlin being really young, like 9 years old, which later on did make sense with the way I wanted to build the story, because I needed her to be older for certain things that are to come. Like a relationship. Um and just, you know, stuff like that. So I had to change stuff. I I remember that there was a chapter where when they first met, uh Caitlin and Toxine, her name back then was Toxica. Hated it. Felt really cringe. For a time I even called her Doku, which is the Japanese name for poison. Hated that though. So I put the word toxic in every language, and like slime or like green, and I tried to find fun names. So in the end I went with the French word. What's it for actually? I forgot. It's a right. There you go. Hold up, I'll show you. Right. It basically is a toxin, a poisonous substance. I know it's French. A feminine French noun that translates to toxin. It refers to a poisonous substance often produced by bacteria, plants, or animals that can cause illness. I love doing that. That's how I ended. Yeah. Kiwi, I love that. And it's a feminine word in like French. So I was like, you know what, this is kind of cool. Um, and I know back then the character was different as well. So Toxine used to be a radioactive slime, like toxic waste. Now I kind of made her design more biological slash magical, with like the whole magic cores explanation and something I can't tell you about yet. The story has already mentioned how the witch gave Caitlin like a green liquid to drink in order to cure everything, but it ends up doing jack shit. And then a couple of years later, Toxine emerged. So they tied this together into like, oh, maybe, I don't know, maybe the witch was too stupid and did an accident. We don't know. Well, I know, but um I remember one chapter where both of them met for the first time, and the day after, Caitlin went into the library and I played around with like body control a little bit, that the slime was like taking over the body and like going through the library, and everybody was looking at her weirdly. Cream liquid to drink, yeah. Maybe one day I'll like start selling a drink that's like green. That'd be funny. um Loved that. I'm very close to writing the first half of the lore, which is like, you know how anime, if it has 24 episodes, the 12th or 13th episode is like a big highlight, and then they get a new intro for the new half of the anime. Imagine the lore kind of like that. So it's like the first half of it is almost done. We're gonna get like a little peeking of like really important shit, and then it's gonna go down again, and the end of the lore is gonna go with another huge thing that is gonna explain a shit ton. And after that, I'm probably just going to write, what do you call it, like OVAs, but like in writing style. Maybe I've read too much smut, but a couple things remind me of some other themes. You are allowed to talk about stuff like that here. We are not 100% say so, right? I have a cat girl and a slime girl as my OCs. Can you imagine the things I draw with them? Right? So, we are wild here. You'll see. Hold up. I changed the title. This one, chapter 11, used to be called "Oh No, He's Hot." You'll see why. You'll see. Stay here. We're reading this today. Now you have my attention. It's bye. Anyway, Valerie took a generous portion of stew into a bowl and set it in front of me with a wink. Here, love, made with fresh herbs and button mushrooms. Only the tasty kind. Promise. I promise sounds better. I promise. I couldn't help but giggle a little at her playfulness, and that seemed to please her. Varkin thumped his mug down on the table and grilled. Nothing a good meal can't fix, eh, ladies? The stew was incredible, packed with flavors I'd never tasted before. I found myself slowly relaxing, spoonful by spoonful. Even Macy let out a big, satisfied sigh after chugging down the first bite. She looked so happy. Thank you for highlights. Thank you for advance. She's hot, you say. He is. He is. He definitely is. Is unkillable. Does have lore. Oh, I get them, but the lore is complicated. But in words, even harder to imagine how. Oh, don't worry about it. You at some point you're gonna write it. I never thought I was gonna write my lore. Back in, how old was I? I need to think. Eighth grade. How old are you in 8th grade? Wait, I finished 10th class at 17. So I was 14, 15. 14, 15 when I started to write this. That's well written. It reminds me of all the times I had stew and how filling and warm it is. That's good. Thank you for letting me know. I never thought I was going to write this down. I remember specifically in German class, I was in the front row and I always had my phone on the table looking down and like typing on Wattpad, like my lore. I remember that specifically. And today I'm here. I'm almost 25 years old and I'm officially writing it. And I'm excited. Maybe I'll draw stuff about it. Maybe I'll draw a comic. Maybe it gets animated someday. Fucking anime would be fucking cool. Were you on Tumblr? Back then, yes. Back then I was on Tumblr a lot. I was on DeviantArt as well. Seems like a yes. Oh, yes. She looked so happy. Valerie, I asked hesitantly after a few minutes. She looked up from her own bowl. Yes, dear. How did you, learn to cook like this? I asked, a little embarrassed. Wait, sorry, I need to speak again. I think you found my DeviantArt? I would delete it, but I don't know what the password was. So enjoy all the old art. I remember one of my drawings once was on a porn website. And I was like, what? I remember my past relationship partner sending me a link. It's like, didn't you draw this? And I was like, oh shit, I did. You can try the recovery thing and really nah. I'm too lazy for that. Valerie's face lit up with a proud smile. I learned everything right here in this very tavern, she said, tapping the table fondly. I had to learn how to cook so I can take care of my 5 children. Oops. I listened. So many children. Of course, some of the recipes are secret, but if you ever want a lesson, I'd be happy to show you a thing or two. Really? I gasped, tail perking up a little. Valerie chuckled. Yes, really. You've got good instincts, I can tell. I have some things I need to take care of. Much love, kids. Okay, bye-bye, soft kitten. Thank you for popping in, though. Yeah, no, I know. I know, Mother Kaiser. That's why I wish it could be just chaos, but no, it has to be chaos partially because fuck. Everyone's called chaos, I guess. Varkin leaned back in his chair, taking a long sip from his mug. And lucky you, little miss, you're learning from the best cook in the Blue Cedar Forest. Valerie blushed and smacked his arm playfully with her spoon. My phone's Oh, hush, you old boar. Macy smiled at the exchange, sipping her drink quietly. I agree. Even I learned a thing or two from Valerie. Then Varkin's voice lowered, becoming a little more serious. Truth be told, he rumbled, glancing towards Macy, this place wouldn't even be standing if it weren't for Macy. I blinked, looking between them. What do you mean? I tilted my head slightly. Valerie set down her spoon, her expression growing fond but solemn. Years ago, bandits came through here. Big, ugly ones, tearing everything apart. We tried to fight, but we're not exactly the warrior type, you know? She laughed a little, but it was hollow. And then the Macy Ludon showed up, Varkin finished. All on her own, she drove him off. No fear in her bones, that one. We owe her everything. Macy shifted a little in her seat, looking embarrassed. I just did what anyone would have done, she mumbled. Valerie shook her head firmly. You did more than most ever would. You gave us our home back. After that, she stayed with us a couple years and looks still as beautiful as ever. Varkin laughed and gave Macy a clap on her shoulder. The room fell into a comfortable silence after that. Only the crackling fire and the clinking of spoons against bowls filled the air. I looked at Macy with new eyes. She wasn't just kind, brave too, but brave too. Really brave. Something that at least I'm proud of is my character finally getting the last name. Yay! That's good. As dinner came to a close and plates were cleared away, Macy stayed behind with the 2 boars for just a little longer, sipping the last of their moral berry juice, while I began to move toward the stairs to go to bed. But before I left, I overheard them talk. So, did you find him? That... maybe... No. Okay, more with a stern voice. So, did you find him? Varkin asked, his tone hushed but laced with curiosity. There was a pause. Then Macy's voice, calm but laced with quiet tension, replied, No, not yet. But we had a run-in with the vampire back at home. Oh, German cat. Oh no. Oh. Ah. Well. Nun. Das ist natürlich jetzt doof. Hi, Esther. Ja, Deutsch, ne? Ich weiß gar nicht, was ich sagen soll. Äh, Kann ich nicht weiterlesen. Äh, no. Oh Mann, ja. Ja, aber mit wem soll ich denn jetzt reden? Ja. Äh. Oh, Esther. Vielleicht hätte ich das ausschalten sollen. Und jetzt? Worüber soll ich jetzt reden, ja? Hm. Hi, Esther. Hoffe, dir geht's gut. Ja. Äh. Oh, nope. Anyway. Was machen wir denn jetzt? Jetzt darf ich 5 Minuten lang Deutsch reden mit Nja. Jetzt weiß ich nicht, was ich sagen soll. Vielleicht machen wir das sogar ein bisschen größer. Ich weiß nicht. Ich glaube, ich fände das sogar ein bisschen angenehmer, damit Leute das lesen können. Ah, tut mir leid. Sorry, sorry. Weiß nicht, was ich sagen soll. Ah. Ist okay. 2 Minuten noch, dann haben wir es schon geschafft, ja. Ja, 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 ja. Burenja. Bunja, bunja, bunja. Ja, 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 ja. Jap, jap. Oh Mann. Naja, ihr könnt ja schon mal ein bisschen vorlesen oder so. So, gucken wir mal gleich. Ah. Tja, Robin, das ist natürlich doof. Slim. Bisschen die Musik genießen. Richtig schön. Entspannen. Vielleicht kann ich euch ja ein paar niedliche Dinge ins Ohr flüstern. Ja. Hm. 1 Minute noch, dann haben wir das Deutsche wenigstens überstanden, ja. Ja, 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 ja. Ich wünsche, ich wäre unter. Hm? Monja? Monja? Ja, ja, ja. Wohl? Wohl. 1 Minute noch. Nur noch 1 Minute, dann haben wir es doch schon geschafft. Ihr müsst nur noch ein bisschen durchhalten. Ja. Du musst den Übersetzer benutzen. Ah. Okay, okay, okay. Ich verstehe. Burinja. Burinja. Pretty boy. Ah, okay, we made it. 5 minutes are officially over. God curse you, Esther. We're reading right now. I can't switch to German, you silly. Yeah, yeah. I hope you read the end of chapter 10 on your own. Yay! Continuing with chapter 11 through fire and silence now. Your voice is super cute in German. Thank you. I appreciate that. The next morning, I walked. Waka. The next morning, I woke up to an empty room. Toxine still seemed to rest within me, and Macy was nowhere to be seen. For a moment, panic rushed through my heart, but then I saw the faint light creeping in through the curtains and realized it hadn't been just another dream. I'll probably binge chapters at some point. Hiya! Stretching lazily, I climbed out of bed and shuffled over to the bathroom outside the room to the left. The mirror was a little cracked and dusty, but it reflected me clearly enough. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to wake up properly. As I grabbed a towel, I caught a glimpse of movement in the mirror inside my eyes. A familiar green shimmer. My eyes looked different. The color changed and my pupils turned into a slit. Toxine? I whispered, a little worried and nervous about this. My mouth started to move on its own. I was still conscious, but my body started to move. I was still conscious, but my body moved on its own. Just felt like trying something new. I can understand. Yay! Thank you for the parts to check. I appreciate it. Wow, this is spooky, I whispered, staring deep into the mirror. Pretty cool, huh? She talked through my mouth, the voice a little lower and echoey. No, raspy. Her voice is raspy. Mole chaos? What's mole chaos? Then the eyes slowly faded back to their original color. That was quite impressive, but the idea that you could do this at any time is very frightening. Bald? Oh. Soon, let me just fix it. The mirror reflected only me now, small, nervous, and clutching my tail like a security blanket. I dried off my face, took a deep breath, and headed downstairs. I'm gonna... Small and nervous. The tavern was almost eerily empty. A broom leaned against the far wall, and the fireplace was a little more than glowing coals now. Maisie stood near the bar, deep in conversation with Varkin and Valerie. They were hunched together, speaking low enough that I couldn't quite hear until I got closer. We've heard rumors, Varkin rumbled. There's a vampire hideout way southeast of here. If you're looking for information or someone hiding, that's your best bet. But it's not... Actually, wait, hold on. Let's take this out. But it's not easy getting there. Valerie was pointing on the map that Macy carried with her. She nodded. We also remembered something else, she said, exchanging a glance with Varkin. 3 days ago, a group of vampires came storming through here. They were searching for a woman. A vampire lady, they said. Why is this? Oh no, I know one. A vampire lady, they said, with a red necklace. Pointing at Macy. Wade Gilu. Hello, hello. Bonjour, gamers and writers. Hello, hello, hello. See, you can't physically do it. It doesn't work. Yep. Not right now. At that, Macy's hand instinctively touched the ruby pendant on her throat. Why are these so big? Can't. So weird. At that, her hand instinctively touched her ruby pendant at her throat. Of course, we sent them away. What book is this? This is my lore. We're currently at chapter 11. I'm basically just rereading it to get a better grip of it and just fixing stuff that I notice along the way. And once we reach the newest chapter, I will probably just write, right? Of course we sent them away, Valerie said fiercely. No one threatens our guests in our tavern. Maisie looked troubled but nodded. She turned and spotted me standing nearby, giving me a small smile. Katie, good morning. Her voice softened up a little and her eyes relaxed. I hurried over, feeling a little like a kid getting called by a parent. Katie, Maisie said gently, crouching slightly so we were eye to eye. There's a place we need to go, a hideout. It's far and it might be dangerous, but it could help us find what I'm looking for. She waited, giving me the chance to say no, but I nodded without hesitation. I'm ready. Lead the way, I said, determined. Maisie smiled warmly. Good. Then let's get some things and head out. I will explain more along the way. Us being here could cause troubles for these two, and I don't want that, she said while looking at the two boars holding each other's hand. Do you have 10K? No! Stop fooling around, sillies. Varkin and Valerie started bustling about, packing up supplies. Dried meats, dense bread, bottles of fresh water, and a pair of sturdy trail boots that looked like they could withstand anything. Valerie handed them to me. These are for you, love. You're still so young and small. I can imagine how painful a lot of walking can be. There's a typo. My eyes started to sparkle and a shiver ran down my spine. So kind of them. I thought, I will cherish them forever. No, I'll take this out. My eyes started to sparkle and a shiver ran down my spine. I will cherish them forever, I said, and held them close to me. You'll need these, Varkin said with a wink. You'll need them. You'll need them. As we finished packing and getting dressed, Varkin patted Maisie on the shoulder again. Take care of yourself, love. That little one and the weird green child too, he said, nodding toward me. We'll be fine. I'll keep in touch, Maisie assured him. Before we left, Valerie bent down and hugged me tightly. Stay safe, little kitten, she whispered. With our bags packed and her updated map in hand, we stepped outside into the chilly morning air. The forest loomed ahead. The big forest loomed ahead. We set off, the tavern disappearing behind us with every step. No, I'll take this out. With our bags packed and her updated map in hand, we stepped outside into the chilly morning air. We set off. No, as we set off, the tavern disappeared behind us with every step we took. Hello, welcome in. Ooh, how do I say your name? Zorius? Is that how I say it? Welcome in, beautiful. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, now I need to read again so I can get a better grip of this. I want it to sound good, you know? With our bags packed and her updated map in hand and Macy's updated map in hand, we stepped outside into the chilly morning air. As we set off, the tavern disappeared behind us with every step we took. The forest was colder than I remembered. The trees were thinner out here, letting in more of the morning light, but the wind still bit at my cheeks and nose. It was winter after all. I held my scarf close, following Macy's lead as our boots crunched against the frosted grass. I really liked those boots. They were comfy and so light to wear. There was a button on the side, and the stuffing was fluffy. A while passed before I felt that familiar stirring in my chest. Ugh, finally some peace and quiet, Toxine grumbled, slipping out of me in her usual half-liquid, half-humanoid form, and stretched lazily beside me. You could have said hi, I whispered with a small smile. Happy to see you again, whereupon she just rolled her eyes. I looked down, disappointed, and fiddled with my fingers. Those boars were way too cheerful. Cheerful. Creeped me out. No one's that nice unless they've got something. They're hiding something. Zoria, thank you so much for the follow. You got it. I'm so glad. Changed it today from Zaduha. Nice to catch a stream. Found you on YouTube Shorts. No way. That's so cool. Well, I'm glad you found your way into my little stream. We're not doing something too crazy today. Just reading the lore and, you know, talking a little bit. She muttered, flicking a small rock off the path. No. Flicking a small rock on the path. It flew directly in front of my feet. Ow, my toe! I flinched and almost stumbled. Macy laughed out loud and patted my head. You don't trust anything, do you, Tuxine? I can assure you, those two were the most genuine boars you'll ever meet. I blinked and added, but I agreed they were really kind. Valerie even gave us some snacks. Exactly, Tuxine replied. Suspicious. Question, how old is Katie, having into account you changed it sometimes? Where's my paper? I think 16, no, 17. 17. Hold up. Was it here? I think it was here. One earlier. There we go. About a week before my 17th birthday. So, right before they headed out. It's like a week before the birthday. Basically. Was it here? No, we're 2 to 4. Where are we? Fire and silence. Silence? Why silence? I don't know. She drifted ahead a bit before glancing back towards Macy and added, speaking of suspicious. She walked up alongside Macy, who didn't flinch and just kept walking, as if she expected it. What is it, Tuxine? Oh. She asked calmly. You gonna tell us what's really up with that necklace of yours? 'Cause I'm feeling a little left out, don't you, kitty cat? Wait, have I explained? Severe Outlast. Hello, welcome in. Did I explain this before? She did mention that it's the necklace of her lover, which is the guy they're looking for. Yes. Toxine's voice had that sharp, sarcastic edge again. Macy didn't answer right away. Her hand went to the red gem at her neck. I wish I knew why they were after the necklace after all these years. Maybe it's magical? I asked quietly, walking a bit faster to keep up with the two of them. I have examined it thoroughly multiple times, Macy murmured, eyes fixed ahead. I stole this necklace many, many years ago, and now, instead of looking for me, he just wants his stupid jewelry back, she complained angrily. Great, Tuxine muttered. Love that for us. I took a closer look at Macy's face and noticed a little blush on her white cheeks. Were you two very, very in love? I blurted out. Macy looked shocked, and then blush deepened. Oh, what a question. Tuxine just rolled her eyes and let out an exaggerated groan. Oh, please, can we not turn this into some soap opera? I frowned. Do you always have to be so rude? Can't you just be nice for once? She turned to me, her expression darkening. I'm only here because of you, remember? Her voice a little too sharp. I can't really exist outside your body for long. You think I'd be tagging along with some sussy vampire and a helpless kitten if I had it my way? Her words hit harder than I expected. She crossed her arms, eyes glowing an angry reddish color. Don't start thinking this is some special bond between us. I'm just surviving, that's all. I stared at her, jaw tight, and didn't say anything at first. The wind carried the silence between us, cold and biting. Macy slowed her pace a little, glancing back, but saying nothing yet. Maybe she understood it was something we had to work out on our own. Sussy vampire, yes. Let me pull up the picture again. No, I did show you guys the picture, right? No, I did. Fanfic? My lore, yes. What? Oh, all good. That's enough now, Macy then said firmly, her voice cutting through the tension like a blade. She had stopped walking and turned to face us, her eyes calm but serious. Both of you are tired, overwhelmed, and scared, even if neither of you wants to admit it. I looked away, feeling my cheeks burn with shame. Tuxine, on the other hand, didn't respond. She simply narrowed her eyes, muttering something under her breath and picking up her pace. Within moments, she was a few steps ahead of us, walking fast enough to make it clear she didn't want to talk anymore. Macy sighed and gently placed a hand on my shoulder. Let her cool off, she said softly. So we walked. The forest stretched on ahead, quiet and still. The crunch of our boots on frost was the only sound for a long time. No one said anything. The trees swayed slightly in the wind, and every now and then a bird would take off in the distance. But between the three of us it was silence. A strange, heavy kind of silence. We had walked in that silence for what felt like hours. My thoughts wandered back to Tuxine, Macy, the tavern, my dream, everything. I was about to speak when I felt it. A strange heat below my feet. The ground turned suddenly warm, melting the snow around it. And then, whoosh! An orange glowing circle opened up beneath me, searing through the frost-covered path like a flare from hell. A perfect circle of blazing light opened, and before I could even scream, I fell. The ground vanished beneath me, and I plummeted into fire and shadow, the wind howling around me, tugging at my clothes and hair as I spiraled down through the hole. I screamed, arms flailing. Above me, the hole in the sky shrunk rapidly out of sight. Macy and Tuxine were still walking. They hadn't even noticed anything. Below me was a world of glowing lava and deep darkness. Rivers of fire flowed between cracked rocks, and huge stone pillars stuck out of the ground like broken teeth. The heat was unbearable. It got hotter and hotter. I squinted, thinking this was it, that I'd burn alive. Just as I was sure the heat would swallow me whole, a strong thud caught me mid-fall. My body jerked and I gasped, staring into the face of someone I'd never seen before. He looked mostly human, but not quite. His skin was warm to the touch, his eyes glowed faintly like ambers, and thick wild hair framed his face like a lion's mane. I couldn't help but notice the massive wings stretching behind his back, leathery black, and a long curved tail that flicked behind him as we hovered over the lava. "Whew," he said, with a grin, effortlessly holding me in one arm like I weighed nothing. "Didn't know it'd be raining cats today." Thank you so much for the follow, Maeve Charlotte. Welcome in. Hello, hello, hello. My mouth hung open. I had no idea what to say. He's incredibly handsome. Yeah, no, he's an interesting little fella. Also, I love this idea. This is funny. So the chapter before was the map, and now there's no map because loading the underworld. Anytime in the future, will you make a toxin model? Wait. Choto mate kudasai, minasama. Yes, probably. Anyway, chapter 12. Literally hell. You know, you really shouldn't go falling through the underworld's gates without a parachute or something. My heart was still racing. What in the world? Who are you? He smirked. I'm Jazarath. Half imp, half fire imp, half, well, something worse, probably. And you are? I am Caitlin of, Earth, and this is most certainly not where I intended to be, I said, brushing ash off my cloak as best as I could while still dangling in his arms, like a wet cat that has been taken out of the bath. Put me down, if you please. I tried to be nice. He raised an eyebrow, but gently lowered both of us on a jagged stone platform just above the lava. Heh, fancy little thing, ain't ya? I am not little. This is a perfect height for my age, I snapped, brushing off my knees once he let go. Where exactly am I? I asked, while Jazarath stretched, wings folding behind his back. This is the underworld, home of demons, gods, and whatever nasty creatures you can imagine. My eyes widened, my breath shaky. The air was thick with heat, and everything around us glowed a sinister orange red. I didn't want to admit it, but my knees were trembling. In hell? Like my life couldn't get any worse from this point on. I started to get nervous about being separated from Toxine. It has been a while since we have been with each other for her to rest. Cool and pretty a Macy model would be. I tried to make one once. I don't know. It didn't look too nice, but it's okay. Jazarath's being pulled me from my thought, and I started to stare. He looked really interesting. Until then, I've never seen a demon before. Only ever in books has their existence been explained. His hair was wild and flame-kissed, his smile lazy but sharp, and those eyes, golden-slitted, like they were carved from molten amber. Everything about him radiated danger and charm. I shouldn't be here, I muttered, trying to collect my thoughts. This place, it's dangerous, isn't it? Jazarath shrugged and scratched at one of his horns unfazed. Danger is just a matter of perspective, sweetheart. Down here, you're just one soul among many who ended up where they weren't meant to be. That's not very comforting, or answering my question, I said, wrapping my arms around myself. I noticed my cloak was already damp with sweat. I really need to get back. My friends, they will be looking for me. If I can't be connected to her, we will both die. My voice grew quieter, my situation becoming clearer to me. Upon my situation becoming clearer. Of what other characters will you make those models of now? That's a good question. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe some for fun, maybe not. This caught his attention. He turned towards me, towards. Head tilted, wings flexing slightly. Jazarath let out a low whistle. Now that's interesting. He stepped a bit closer, the heat from his skin almost as intense as the air around us. So you're telling me, sweetheart, that if you don't get back to Terra real soon, both you and someone else just poof? Maybe I'll just die. Is it hot in there? It's really hot in there. It's hot in there. I nodded, my throat tight. Did he just say Terra? Also, flowered kawaii. Thank you so much for the follow and welcome in. I nodded, my throat tight. Did he just say Terra? Yes, Tuxine. She's a part of me. A real part. And if I'm down here too long, we can't live without each other. Literally. I tried to explain to him, but started to feel a little embarrassed upon noticing how insane this sounds. Huh, he muttered, more to himself than to me. Never heard of a connection like that. Sounds cursed. Maybe a magical connection? I took a shaky step toward him and ignored his question. Do you know how to get back? Anything? A portal? A path? Or even a clue? You're a demon. You should know. You live here. Jazarath scratched the back of his head again and sighed. I mean, yeah, easy. No biggie. But I don't know the location of where you fell from. So... He grinned again, a little softer this time. I could get you back up on Terra, but just not exactly to your friends. I felt like my heart turned into a stone. My chest was tight. I'm fucked. But hey, at least I'm good company, Jazarath said and patted my head roughly. I blankly stared into the distance. Oh, come on, don't look so sad, little miss, he said with a teasing grin, his clawed hand still ruffling my hair. I'm sure we can get you back up there. Stop that. I swatted his hand away, cheeks puffed in irritation. He only chuckled, wings stretching wide as he began to lazily circle me in the air. Circle around me in the air, his tail flicking playfully behind him. Ah, wait a sec, he said suddenly, snapping his fingers. It's portal class day. The kiddos are probably out practicing. Practicing in the Pride Ring, if I remember right. My eyes lit up with sudden hope. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go! Without thinking, I grabbed his arm and tugged him forward like an overexcited child pulling a kite. Jazarath laughed, clearly entertained. You're a bold little thing, huh? We need to go this way. I blushed, and before I could answer, he scooped me up in one smooth motion, his arms strong and warm. My heart jumped into my throat. Hold on tight, he said with a grin, wings spreading wide before we shot into the blazing sky. The underworld stretched beneath us, rivers of lava, glowing cracks in the earth, and cliffs floating like islands in a fiery ocean. The air shimmered with heat, sparks dancing around us as we flew. I clung to him tight. I felt my body growing weaker with every minute we flew. My breath came shorter, and I felt a faint chill in my fingers despite the unbearable heat. Jazarath looked down at me mid-flight, brow furrowing slightly. Is this the relationship you said before? Maybe? Is the writing too horny? Maybe. Jazarath looked down at me mid-flight, brow furrowing slightly. You all right, sweetheart? You look pale. I'm fine, I muttered, though my voice trembled. Just tired, maybe. He didn't believe it, but said nothing more. Not horny enough. Don't worry about it. After a few minutes, Jazarath slowed his wings and descended onto a massive rock formation rising from the molten sea. There, a group of younger-looking demons were gathered around an older goat-like being who seemed to be explaining something with great enthusiasm until our sudden landing made the whole group turn towards us in shock. As we arrived, a few of the students yelped and stumbled backwards, wings flapping nervously. The teacher, an older goat-like demon with curved horns and a kind but tired face, sighed deeply, pressing his palm to his forehead. Jazarath, he said, his tone a perfect mix of annoyance and resignation. Do I even want to ask what you're doing here? Oh my god, hi Cookie. Hi baby. Hi, you want to say hi to chat? Hi. What's up? Hi. Hi baby. Hi. Want me to open the door? I can get you outside. I have to keep the door closed though, or my partner will hear my embarrassing story. Yeah, you're outside. Yeah. Bye. There she goes. Yes, she is the stinky, but she's the least stinky one. She's the clean one. She's my princess. Anyway, Jazarath grinned, folding his wings neatly. Field trip, he said proudly. Got a special case for the portal kits today. The class looked confused. The teacher raised a brow. Bro. That's what I thought. Shush. There's a serious lore writing. There's not too much horny. More like depression, sadness, and pain, but we'll get to that later. The class looked confused. The teacher raised a brow. And why is that, Prince? A prince? Seriously? Maybe I'll have her say that. Well, Jazarath began, scratching his neck. I think one of your students might have accidentally opened a portal up on Terra, and my little friend here fell right through. A few of the demon students snickered. One of them, a tall imp with blue skin and horns too big for his head, whispered loudly, "She fell. From where? The dirt world?" Another one laughed. "You mean Earth, that little mud ball?" "It's not a mud ball, you idiots," I said louder than I meant to, stumbling forward a bit. Jazarath chuckled behind me. "Easy, sweetheart. They just don't get out much." The teacher raised a hand, and the group immediately quieted down. Xion? What's Xion? Skion? I don't know how to read that. All right, that's enough. Then, turning back to Jazarath, he sighed. "All right, class, who messed up a portal earlier?" he asked, scanning the students one by one. They exchanged uneasy glances, claws fidgeting, tails twitching. The air grew tense until a small voice peeped. No, piped. Piped? And what the hell is that? Xion of the Sea? I have no... Scion? Scion. Yeah, what is that? It's just a name? Wait, isn't that one of the... I'm reading a book about... Oh, Soft Kitten, thank you so much! You sweet! You sweet! I don't know what that is. Thank you so much for the 10 bits. You're so sweet. The air grew tense until a small voice echoed up from the back. Professor Varn, sir?" All eyes turned toward the small, nervous imp with burnt-tipped horns and soot still smudged across his snout. Professor Varn groaned. "Zeke?" The imp flinched. Okay. It wasn't on purpose, I swear," he blurted, wings twitching nervously. "I was practicing to open a portal by myself, and, I thought I opened it in front of me, but then it was nowhere to be seen, so I closed it right away." Jazarath tilted his head, amused. Professor Varn exhaled through his nose, then gestured toward Zeke. "You're going to fix this mess. Since Prince Jazarath just graduated from my class last year," Varn added dryly, "he can show all of his skills he didn't learn since he skipped class too much." So even a prince doesn't go to school, I thought to myself. Sure, Jazarath said, rolling his shoulders with a grin. I was getting bored anyway, he added mockingly. The young student stepped forward and started to draw signs in the air in a circle. Jazarath knelt beside and tracing the air with his claw as the pattern began to hum with heat. The ground pulsed with fiery energy. The air shimmered and slowly a glowing circle began to form again, stable this time. Stable this time. With... He's a newly grad? Yeah. In this current year, it's been a year since he graduated from school there. How old is he? Caitlin is 17, about to be 18. So he's like 20-ish. In normal years, in demon ages, it's probably a couple of hundreds, but I have no idea how to do the math right now. I want to say 200. I want to say 10 is like around 100, 20 is like 200, and so on. So 200 something something-ish. The air shimmered and slowly a glowing circle began to form. This sentence has terrible grammar. Hold up. Oh, this is nice. A circle of golden light began to form again in the air, this time stabilized and with a shimmery appearance. Form in the air. Wait, so hell uses the Earth's calendar? Good question. I don't know. It's not hell. It's the underworld. There is no religion present in this, like, story. It did exist before in the human age, but since most of humanity was wiped out, nobody was really, like, into the, like, classic heaven and hell situation. Let me pull out. Hold up 1 second. Chaos lore, story info, hell and heaven. We have the underworld. Basically, the 9 rings of hell is a thing with 7 sins and all of that. Right? We have a demon king, basically, and he's the ruler of hell. And there's like a hierarchy with like strength and power. Then we have Earth, which is called Terra. Yeah, they mention years to help the humans understand. Demons get crazy old and they age like super slowly. It's kind of like with like, imagine cats. My cat is 1 year old, but she's like 10 in like human years, you know? And then we have Etheria, which is like clouds and like stars and all of that shit, you know? You know. All of that shit. Heavens above. Yeah, kind of like the heavens, but nothing religious, you know? There's no God. It's honestly just beings. Some are stronger, some are weaker, and all of that. Anyway, a circle of golden light began to form in the air, this time stabilized and with a shimmering appearance. I gasped. A shimmer of hope. Oh, we have shimmer twice. A shimmer? A glimmer. Let's use glimmer, sure. I'll stop it. You're so fine. Don't worry about it. You're so fine. I don't mind. This. You have no idea how happy I am that you're genuinely interested. If there's anything that doesn't make sense, I love talking about it. Right? You're so fine. The faint outline of trees, sunlight, and frost. And... not frost, grass. It's my world, thank God, I breathed relief. Jazarath grinned, steadying the magic with both hands. Well, it's time to send you back, sweetheart. But even as I smiled, my body trembled. My vision blurred at the edges. Every breath felt heavier. Jazarath noticed immediately. Hey, are cat people supposed to be this warm? His voice softened. Guess we really don't have much time to waste, huh? Let's go and find your weird soulmate. I worry, but now I guess I question everything. Please do. Genuinely do. He scooped me up once more, his wings unfurling in a blaze of heat. Hold on, kit, and let's get you home. With a rush of air, everything flipped. The light swallowed us whole. Flipped, and the light swallowed us whole. When I opened my eyes again, the world was quiet. No fire, no brimstone, just the forest. Snow crunched beneath Jazarath's feet as he landed gracefully, his wings folding behind him. The sharp scent of frost hit my nose. I could barely lift my head. Hi, warrior. Welcome in. Where are they? I whispered, my breath white in the cold. Jazarath looked around, his expression tightening. The trees stretched endlessly, shadows long and cold under the pale morning light. They probably continued and looked for you. I tried to nod, but my head felt heavy. Easy, I gotcha, he said softly, his usual teasing tone replaced by concern. Are you still everyone's pussy? I hope so. My skin felt like ice. Ugh, we need to hurry. We've been apart too long. I've never experienced it as bad as that day. Sure, we had tried to experiment with ourselves and see how far we can stretch it, but whenever it's been too long, Tuxie cancelled it and went back within me to rest. I could only imagine how bad she must feel this moment. I need proof. Show us that pussy. I mean, I'm here. Hello, I'm Kat, Nya. Jazarath's eyes flickered with worry. All right, we'll find them. Hold on. He spread his wings again and leaped into the air, scanning the forest below. I had closed my eyes to rest. I could only hear the wind howling for a while. Then a distant voice, sharp, angry, echoing through the trees, pulled me back. Awake again? He asked. How long was I out? I lifted my head, looking around. I want to say for a good half hour or so. Now he heard it too. You useless bloodsucker, you said she was right here the last time as well. Think of that. We both looked down and his flying slowed. That your little friend down there? He asked, amused. Jazarath banked hard and dove? 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 Do I like that? These are glasses. Dove is correct? Okay. And dove toward the sound. The ground rushed up at us, snow scattering as he landed with a heavy thud. There they were. Maisie stood tense, axe drawn, scanning the trees, worry etched all over her face. And Tuxine, half formed into a metallic-looking weaponry monster. Her no, I don't like that. No, I'll keep that. Her body trembling with exhaustion, angrily in the snow. The grammar sucks in this one. Plummet. Oh, I like plummeted. I formed a metallic looking weapon and anger. No. Metallic. Plummet. I like dumb. I like plummeted. And plummeted toward the sound. And Toxine half formed into a metallic-looking weaponry monster, her body trembling with exhaustion angrily in the snow. The second she turned around, she froze, her eyes wide and glowing with recognition. She looked weak. Ah! She screamed with as many emotions as she could express. I barely managed to smile before my knees gave out completely. Jazarath bent, holding me steady. Toxine didn't hesitate. She rushed forward, her liquid form shifting into a blur of green. In one smooth motion, she swept me up and then dissolved in my... Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Hold up. Nom, 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 nom. Ah. Toxine didn't hesitate. She rushed forward, her liquid form shifting into a blur of green. In one smooth motion, she swept me up and then dissolved into me. The world exploded in warmth. I could feel her power flooding my body. The regeneration sent shivers down my spine and let me shed a tear. My fingers stopped trembling. My heartbeat and my heartbeat steadied. Toxine's voice echoed faintly in my head, softer than usual. Don't you ever do that again. Oops, not all of that. I laughed weakly, tears in my eyes. You sound worried. How unusual. She scoffed, but there was a tremor in her tone. Shut up. Macy ran over, her expression half relieved, half in disbelief. What in the world happened to you, and why in the world are you with him? She dropped her weapon, and the magic dissolved from it into the air. Before I could answer, Jazarath cleared his throat with a grin. Hello, Macy Lidon. Good to see you again. Macy stared at him. He shrugged, feigning modesty. Toxine rolled her eyes within me. Who the fuck is that? You two know each other? I asked carefully. Ooh. Hee. Chapter 13, A Demonic Present. Ooh. Macy exhaled shakily, her voice soft but edged with relief. Yes, we have crossed paths before. She rubbed the bridge of her nose with her fingers. Oh, Katie, I'm so glad to have you here safe and sound. I wouldn't have known what to do without you. She then knelt down and hugged me tightly, without explaining anything further. Behind us, Jazarath stood with his wings half folded. Guess I showed up at the right time again, he said quietly. I turned to him, intrigued. You really helped me out there. Thank you. I didn't expect demons to be, sort of friendly, I said, looking down. He shrugged. Oh, it wasn't a big deal. Didn't feel right leaving you like that, he said, while ruffling my hair. My chest felt warm. You haven't changed a bit, Macy replied, crossing her arms and letting out a sigh. You always find a way to show up where you don't belong. He smirked faintly, placing a hand on his chest. You wound me, Macy. I stepped closer. When did you guys meet? I asked curiously, my tail tip swishing back and forth. Macy looked at me, then sighed. Jazarath chuckled, scanning me up and down. Well, aren't you looking way better now? He said, amused. Macy just rolled her eyes. Unfortunately, we crossed paths back when I decided to learn how to make portals, and even then he proved himself to be a rather complicated teen. I watched them both engage with each other. Macy can make portals? Jazarath gasped dramatically and poked Macy's cheek. Complicated is a nice way to say charming. They seem to get along quite well, I thought to myself. Well, where are you two, three ladies headed then? He asked, scanning the area as his wings lifted slightly. You do seem to be rather far from your usual hunting grounds, Macy. I wanted to tag along in the conversation, so I answered before Macy could. We're trying to find a vampire. We're trying to find a vampire hideout. My excitement got the better of me, but I realized it too late. Macy rolled her eyes and sighed. He chuckled and kneeled down in front of me. My face flushed. He looked so handsome, even with that little stubble on his chin. And what in all of hell are y'all wanting at a vampire hideout then? He asked, grinning. Macy scoffed and put her hands on her hips. Not everything needs to be your business, and stop harassing Katie. She's had a rough day. Macy guided him by the shoulder, and they both turned around, walking a couple steps aside. Should I not listen? I wondered. Inside me, Tuxine stirred. Don't look at him like that. I blinked. What? You're staring at him like you're about to eat him, that's what. I sighed quietly. I wasn't. I could feel her fuming inside me, her irritation prickling under my skin. Do any of them have claws? Oh, all of them. Honestly, they all do. Macy has wonderful thin hands with like naturally long fingernails. Caitlin has like short, sharp nails, hinting towards the cat-like situation. Jazarath has like big, almost claw-like hands. Still hands, but like big man hands with a little bit of sharp going on there. And Tuxine can make her nails look however the fuck she wants, honestly. She can shapeshift, so it's like... When Macy and Jazarath returned, I quickly straightened up, pretending nothing had happened. All right, Macy said. Jazarath has decided he wants to be of assistance in our little, adventure. I nodded. Of course I can't be around all the time, Jazarath butted in, but I have this. He pulled out a little bell attached to a blue fabric band. I looked at it, curious and intrigued. This right here is an artifact from... Oh, I wrote hell. From the underworld. Used to summon the demon that has its name written into it. He took my hand, my face flushing again, and placed the bell in my palm. Thank you, I replied softly. He reached out his arm and started tracing a small pentagram in midair. Strange symbols and fiery runes began to swirl in front of him before Macy interrupted. Yeah, okay, we can't do demon magic, Jazarath. He stopped and rolled his eyes. I think he wanted to show off a little. Then Macy showed me a small paper with the same pentagram on it. We basically just need to put this on the ground and ring the bell. It'll open a direct line to me, and only me, Jazarath said, looking genuinely excited. Macy nodded. Caught? What? Why? What? Can we go back to the metallic monster weapon? I am the metallic monster weapon. What? Like the previous chapter? That's just Tuxine. You wrote Hellcotta for K, dude. I wrote this like a while ago. Was there anything you missed, Clip? I can. It's just her. She can shapeshift. Basically. It didn't sound quite right. Okay. Hold up. There. Actually, no, I have to go in here and then scroll down. There. Macy stood tense, axe drawn, scanning the trees, worry etched all over her face. And Tuxine, half formed into a metallic-looking weaponry monster, her body trembling with exhaustion, angrily in the snow. Rummaging angrily in the snow. I like that. What stands out to you? Do tell. And don't apologize, you're fine. I want any type of criticism. Fusion of metallic weapons and monstrous forms. I mean, imagine her and like her arms are made into like two blades, like teeth, kind of. Basically. It's like I showed this yesterday. No, not yesterday, but the day before. It's kind of like this, right? Basically. Yum. I know I need to draw it. I just never do. Either it's her whole hand, maybe just her fingers that she made into like um blades, or you know, do I have I do have good pictures somewhere. I just don't know where. I'd have to like look for them. But basically like that. There we go. Just the phrasing. Yeah, no, don't worry about it. Then Tuxine hissed inside me. Literally hissed. We don't need him. You have me. I chuckled embarrassedly, wondering if they could hear her too. Jazrath blinked, tilting his head slightly. So, I still don't quite understand that little symbiotic relationship you two have going on. You keep talking to yourself, he said, curious, not judging, but studying. Tuxine is funny. I love her so much. Macy raised a brow. Do you mean Tuxine? Oh yeah, Katie did mention her name a while ago, he said, folding his arms. His tail swayed lazily behind him. Inside me, Tuxine hissed again. I don't like him. Whereupon I just rolled my eyes. The demon smirked slightly, clearly hearing the tone in my voice. A feisty one, then. She can be, Macy said dryly. Now, don't poke the slime, Jazarath. She bites back. He stretched his wings, glancing up at the pale sky. Well, he said with a grin, as much as I'd love to stick around and actually do bother the slime, I've got a whole underworld to get back to before someone notices I'm gone. He cracked his neck and rolled his shoulders, then began tracing his claw through the air, sending shivers down my spine as he finished. Oh, why did I write this? Jazarath looked so fit. He probably works out a lot. I found myself wondering, staring, tracing. Fiery lines appeared, bending and folding into a shimmering oval of red and gold. The air around it hummed with heat, and the portal opened completely. Before he left, he leaned down slightly. Then, to my surprise, he brushed his hand against my cheek. Shh. It was warm. Too close, Tuxine complained. Take care now, okay? And stop falling into places, he said and winked. Macy raised an eyebrow but didn't say a word. He gave Macy a crooked smile. You too, Macy. With a low chuckle, he turned, stepping into the swirling portal, and just before it closed, he leaned back out. See you soon, Katie. And with that, he winked, gave a lazy salute, and disappeared as the portal sealed shut with a flash of ember sparks. For a moment, the forest was quiet again. The faint scent of smoke lingered in the air. Hi, Papa Lion Tamer. Welcome in. We are reading my lore, and basically, it's like a live reading, editing, and like writing kind of situation. You know. I was amazed. My life used to be so dull, but since I met Macy, everything got more and more interesting. And that day I met a real demon. The Prince of Hell, no less. I had all sorts of fuzzy feelings inside. I hope to see him again soon. Then I was pulled back to reality by Tuxine, who just grumbled inside me. What a prick. I couldn't help but smile softly. Yeah, sure, I whispered, fidgeting my hands. All of a sudden I felt Macy kneel down behind me and hug me very tightly. Macy? I asked, slowly turning around to face her. I'm okay. I just need a moment. I was really worried about her. It must have been a huge shock for both Macy and Tuxine. You suddenly disappeared, and I didn't know what to do, she explained shakily. I promised to take care of you two, but as I saw Tuxine growing weaker by the minute, I felt like I had failed you both. I decided to slowly stroke her head to comfort her, just like she always does for me. She giggled quietly and squeezed me tight, then wiped away a tear. Should we set up camp? The sun will set soon, and I don't want to be free food for anything lurking out here in the forest. Hold up. Sun will set soon. Um. Oh, we gotta go back one. Hold up. We could go back. Uh, uh, where is it? Whereas, something about morning. Ba, 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 ba. Where is it? Hold up. Something about morning. There, morning light. The trees stretched endlessly, shadows long and cold, under the pale morning light. No, it's evening. Under the orange evening light. Under the orange evening light. Sunlight. There we go. And save that. It's evening. Macy suggested getting up and brushing the dirt off her knees. I nodded slowly and took her hand. We then made our way through the forest until we found a small clearing, perfect for setting up camp for the night. It took us a good 30 minutes, but we ended up making that spot rather comfortable. Macy had lit a campfire with a magic potion, which was lighting up the clearing and keeping us warm. The trees that surrounded us were thick enough to hold off the wind. Hold off the wind. Macy had used a blanket that the Boer couple lent us to make a little cozy spot for the two of us to sit on. We both snacked a little from the rations we brought and then laid down to rest. The sky was beautifully clear, and every star up there seemed to be visible. Do you know about star constellations? Macy asked me, and raised her hand to the sky, pointing at a couple of stars. I have heard it here and there, but that's about it, I answered, scanning the night sky. She smiled softly, her eyes still fixed on the sky. Back when I was a child, I used to spend hours just lying outside and watching the stars, she said quietly. They're one of the few things that never really change, no matter where you are. She lifted her hand and traced the familiar shapes of 7 bright stars. See that? That's the Big Dipper. Most people think of it as just a ladle, but travelers used it to find their way for centuries. The 2 stars at the edge point straight toward the North Star. She glanced at me briefly. Whenever I felt lost, I'd look for it. If you can find north, you can always find your way back, or forward. She lowered her hand and let out a small breath. I always liked that one. It reminded me that no matter how far you travel, there's always something guiding you, whether it's a star, a choice, or someone you trust. The fire crackled quietly beside us as we lay there, the vast sky stretching endlessly above. steady and patient. You know, Katie, now that Jazerath offered to help us, I could still get you two back home. She turned to look at me with serious and worried eyes. I dragged you two along on this personal journey of mine without realizing the dangers of this world, she explained. Before she could continue, I said, Are you kidding me? I love this. I got up, her face surprised. My life was super dull for as long as I can remember. I've always dreamed of a life as wonderful as any magic book has told me. I swung around, spreading my arms. I never thought the world was so full of life and magic. Macy giggled. Oh well, who could say no to this? All right then. Macy agreed and patted next to her, signaling me to come back to sleep. We should rest. Lots of walking ahead of us tomorrow. I nodded and cuddled back next to Macy, falling straight asleep. After a while, I got pulled out of my sleep by a heavy feeling on my chest. I groaned and slowly opened my eyes to find Tuxine sitting in front of me. What's going on? I asked sleepily, rubbing my eyes. It was still the middle of the night. She was staring at me with angry eyes. I tilted my head curious. She then mumbled something inaudible as I got up. Huh? What did you say? I asked slowly. I'm glad you're alive, she said, a small pink color across her cheeks. Tuxine avoided eye contact and got up to turn around to the almost distinguished fireplace. I was so overjoyed and my tummy full of so many fuzzy feelings. She had never been this nice to me before, and the appreciation was new too. God, we only have 2 left. Then I can finally write. Chapter 14, Still Water and Sharp... Oh, actually, Still Water and Sharp Teeth. Twin tails. She's so cute. She can be. She's a little shit, though. But then again, both of those characters are basically me, so... Yay! Heartwarming. Oh. You guys are not ready. For anything. I'm so excited to draw, to write those 2 big moments that have been in my mind for like years. I made sure that Macy was still asleep as I carefully pulled myself out of the blanket and turned to Tuxine. Why are you up anyway? I asked quietly. The campfire had burned down to glowing wood, covering the nearby grass in a soft orange glow. She didn't answer right away, her face looking calm for once. I hesitated and quietly slipped my boots on. You're just trying to wake up? That's okay. Tuxine crossed her arms, her slimy body faintly shimmering in the remaining firelight. You kept tossing around. It was annoying. I smiled softly. I was aware this wasn't true, but knowing her, I decided to leave it be. Want to go for a walk? I asked slowly to change the subject. We never had gone on a walk, just the 2 of us. Every time we went outside, Macy had accompanied us to make sure we didn't get into trouble. Tuxine studied me for a moment, then nodded. Fine, but we don't go far. I don't need to repeat today's event. I was happy about her worry towards me. It made me happy to see her care every once in a while. We moved carefully into the forest, keeping our voices low. The night was cool and the air damp with the scent of moss and pine. Moonlight shone through the trees, painting silver patterns across the ground. I told Tuxine about the Big Dipper like Macy did to me before. She seemed disinterested, but kept looking at me like she was waiting for something. Most of the time, her gaze reminded me of a predator watching its prey. My mind started to wander. You've been with me before we met that day, right? I asked. Tuxine glanced sideways and nodded slowly. What was it like? She shrugged. Colors, scents, sounds mostly, she said hesitantly. At some point it got more clear and it all started to make sense. I nodded slowly. I knew she wasn't good with words and feelings, so I tried not to push her too hard. Maybe someday Macy can help us find out more about you, about how you came to be, what you are, and why that witch did what she did. Tuxine stopped and looked down at the ground. Maybe I did go too far after all. She then met my gaze, eyes sharp but uncertain. I swallowed. Tuxine, I wasn't sure what to say. Words felt clumsy here in the quiet forest. She then put one of her slimy fingers on my lips to shush me. You need to stop overthinking and relax, idiot. I don't care too much about who or what I am. I stared into her red eyes and nodded slowly. We have time. I won't leave your side. Well, not like I can or anything. I smiled faintly, relieved. I'm glad to have you with me. I know stuff started out terrible, but I'm glad you're here. Today was scary. Shut up, Robin. Out of the blue, she grabbed my hand and we continued to walk through the quiet forest. The trees started to get thinner as we kept walking. Then I realized we had reached a huge pond. Its surface was unnaturally still, reflecting the moon and stars like polished glass. Pale flowers floated across it, glowing faintly. The air smelled sweet. It was beautiful. We both approached curiously, scanning the surroundings. Suddenly, a ripple appeared across the water, and slowly figures emerged. Figures started to emerge. Four tall, slender, pale blue women-like creatures. Their hair flowed like liquid silver, and their eyes shimmered in the moonlight. They smiled at us, haunting. Little ones, so far from safety, one murmured, voice soft and melodic. Melodic? Manco. Melodious? Meliodas? What? Melodic rap performance. Ah, that sounds good. I froze, my heart hammering in my chest. Tuxine stepped in front of me instantly, claws glinting in the faint moonlight. What the fuck? Are those nymphs? She whispered. They were pretty, I thought to myself. One of the nymphs tilted her head. Come closer, little ones, she said, voice like silk. They slowly started to make their way out of the water closer to us. The tension in the air was thick, like something could explode any minute. Step back, I'm warning you, Tuxine shouted as one of the nymphs jumped out of the water directly towards us. Metallic blades lashed from Tuxine, slashing the nearest nymph back into the water. Screams echoed as the others lunged, their beauty twisting into feral shapes with claws and jagged teeth. Run! Tuxine barked. Can I do this? Slicing through another with sharp precision. Was it good? I stumbled back, terror rooting me to the ground. My fingers brushed against the familiar fabric band in my pocket. The bell. The next one lunged at me, claws aiming straight for my chest. My eyes widened and I barely managed to dodge, and in the chaos the bell slipped from my hand, hitting the ground with a dull thud. No! I cried, scrambling to get it, but the creature was already lunging again. My heart hammered into my ears. I'm gonna put this up here. Toxine roared beside me, slashing through another nymph with a fierce swipe. Get back! She shouted. Did I really? I did. Her tendrils and blades moved with deadly precision, but there were too many of them. One nymph lunged around her, forcing her to twist sharply to block it. I need another word for this. I use this 3 times now. Leaped around her, forcing her to twist sharply to block it. Tuxine tried to use her liquid slime body to let them slip through, but their magic reflected against her powers, making it impossible to counter. In the water, I saw more and more of them approaching. I froze for a moment, terror rooting me in place. I can't do this. I can't. I don't know what to do. I need to get help. Getting Macy would take too long, and I couldn't leave Tuxine to fend for herself. She was struggling so much already. My hands shook violently as I grabbed the bell. The paper was still beneath my knees. I pressed it down and rang it as hard as I could while trying to draw the pentagram from the paper on the dirt. The nymphs froze mid-lunge, hissing in sudden agitation. Tuxine's eyes widened, fury flashing across her face. You called him? She yelled, her voice cracking with anger. Her strikes became more desperate, wild, losing some of their precision. One nymph slipped past her guard and struck, sending her sprawling to the ground with a grunt of pain. I screamed, panic clawing at my throat. Toxine, are you okay? Before I could even think, the night exploded in fire. The air tore apart with heat and a roar, and a portal ripped open between the trees. Blazing wings unfolded, and Jazarath stepped through, flames curling around his figure. Well now, he said, his voice calm but sharp. Didn't think you'd miss me that much, little miss. Jazarath turned his gaze to me first, kneeling slightly, a small grin tugging at his lips. I forgot what I wrote. You okay, sunshine? I nodded shakily, gripping the bell in my hand. Relief and terror tangled together. Need some help? He said with a smirk. I nodded. Jazarath moved like a predator, fluid and terrifying, cutting through the nymph with swift, precise strikes. One screeched as it vanished into ash. Another went down before it even hit the ground. The remaining two hissed and retreated into the pond, leaving ripples behind them. Toxine scrambled upright beside me, her slime flicking angrily, breathing harsh. Get away from her, she spat. Jazarath's eyes flicked to her amusement. Amusement evident. No, something's missing. I got embarrassed because I thought something was, There's a scene that's missing. Why is it not here? No, hold up. Wait, I need to find my files. No. Hold up. Something's missing. Hold up. Hold up, my guys. The files question mark. Yeah. No, I write this in, what's it called? The program is called LibreOffice. And then when I'm done with them, I just paste them into Wattpad. Hold up. I have too much. I have like 2 files called Chaos Lore. God damn it. And the chapters are not proper. Yeah, bye. Hold up. Hold up. Did I really cut this out? Hold up. No, something's missing. Hold up. If I find it. Did I really delete it? No. But it was so horny. Hold up. Wait. It was here. Maybe MID files. Hold up. No, those are my recordings. Chaos Lore. No, this is from last year. No. Wait, I have to scroll through them. I'm so sorry. No. I'll have it. Definitely have it somewhere. I just need to find it. I'm sorry. I could probably rewrite it. Okay, hold up. Because there was... Did I... No. Okay, hold up. No, some stuff is missing. Stuff is genuinely missing. I'm not even kidding. Stuff is missing. You need to have patience with me. I'm so sorry, my friends. I remember writing it. Maybe okay, so the thing is when I edit my things, I copy it and paste it into Deep L to check like for grammar mistakes. And if it doesn't look bad, I just keep it. I really no. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Maybe. Oh wait, hold up. Maybe this is chapter 14. Documents. 7. Oh yeah, end of lore modes. Notes, those are important. Ideas about magic course. Script. Story notes. Subathon. And a file called WGGFGDF. 14. There's one called 14. No. Small green tiny. It's not this one. It's not this one. Ah, motherfucker. Uh, Chotomate minasama, gomen nasai. Um, uh, I'm looking. I'm hoping that maybe I put them in someone's chat. Uh, hold up. Okay, I can't find it. This is so sad. This is genuinely making me sad. I don't know where it is. Sobbing. Actively sobbing. I'm so sorry. No, it was so hot though. No. Okay, wait. I can do this. No. My heart hammered in it is. I grabbed a nearby stick from the forest floor and used it to defend myself. I slammed the stick right into the oncoming nymph's side. She yelped in pain and jumped back where Toxin knocked her out. Scratched my lower arm and jumped back where Toxin knocked her out. Now we're gonna run this through Deep L for grammar mistakes because fuck no. I'm on a roll right now. You have no idea. I'm really like in it. Shit. Only corrected oncoming nymphs. That's the only thing. Really? Was the grammar that good? Oh, shit. Nymph's side. She don't scratch my lower arm and jump back where Tuxie knocked her out. Yes, she roared beside me because of the pain. Beside me due to the pain inflicted on me. Is this grammatic good? Inflict. Oh, without a K. Inflict. You're doing great. Thank you so much. Okay. The next one lunged at me, claws aiming straight for my chest. My eyes widened and I barely managed to dodge. My eyes widened. I barely managed to dodge, and in the chaos, the bell slipped from my hand, hitting the ground with a dull thud. No, I cried, scrambling to grab it, but the creature was already lunging again. My heart hammered in my ears. Yeah, I grabbed a nearby stick from the branch from the forest floor and used it to defend myself. I slammed the branch right into the oncoming nymph's side. She yelped in pain, scratched my lower arm, and jumped back where Tuxine knocked her out. Tuxine roared. I want another word for this. It sounds too crazy. Why is my Wi-Fi lagging? Look, oh my god, how long is this loading? Hollered, rumbled, shouted, yelled. I want like a wind bellowed? No. Not bellowed, something like winced. Recoiled? Flinched? Flinched. No, I'll take flinched. Due to the pain inflicted on me, slashing through another nymph with a fierce swipe. Get back, she shouted, her tendrils and blades moving with deadly precision, but there were too many of them. Hissed? Oh, hissed is good. Whined? No, I'll take flinched. Flinched is fine. Leapt around her, fuzzing at a twist sharply to block it. Tuxine tried to use her liquid slime body to let them slip through, but their magic reflected against her powers, making it impossible to counter. In the water, I saw more and more of them approaching. I froze for a moment, terror rooting me in place. I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I need to get help. Getting Macy would take too long, and I couldn't leave Tuxine to fend for herself. She was struggling so much already. My hands shook violently as I grabbed the bell. The paper was still... I don't know why it's under the knees. Grabbed the paper with the pentagram from my pocket. I pressed it down and rang it as hard as I could while trying to draw the pentagram from the paper on the dirt. On the dirt. The nymphs froze mid-lunge, hissing. Froze? Screamed. Mid-lunge, hissing, in sudden agitation. No, I hate this. This is leaving. Toxine's eyes widened, fury flashing across her face. You called him? She yelled, her voice cracking with anger. Her strikes became more desperate, wild even, losing some of their precision. One nymph slipped past her guard and struck, sending her sprawling to the ground with a grunt of pain. Yeah, I screamed, panic clawing at my throat. Toxine, are you okay? Before I could even think, the night exploded in fire. The air tore apart with heat and a roar. A roar, and a portal ripped open between the trees. Blazing wings unfolded, and Jazareth stepped through, flames curling along his figure. Well now, he said, his voice calm but sharp. Didn't think you'd miss me that much, little miss. Jazareth turned his gaze to me first, kneeling slightly, a small grin tugging at his lips. You okay there, sunshine? I nodded, shaking, gripping the bell on my hand. Relief and terror tangled together. He saw my bleeding arm, grabbed it gently. Hello, welcome in. And grabbed it gently. How did I write this again? Welcome in. How do I say your name? Vikyo man? Viko? Vikyo? It almost sounds like Vikyo, which is the group I'm in. Welcome. Welcome. Mr. Sir V-Man. Mr. Sir V-Man, welcome in. Sorry. He said with a smirk. I'm gonna fix this once I find the other stuff. Oh. Yeah, I do the same. Grab it violently. Anyway, tell me about yourself. What you got? What got you here today? What has made you think that stream? I'm gonna go in there with the weird cat girl. Anyway, Jazareth then got up. He moved like a predator, fluid and terrifying, cutting through the nymphs with swift, precise strikes. One screeched as it vanished into ash. Another went down before it even hit the ground. The remaining two hissed and retreated into the pond, leaving ripples behind them. Toxine scrambled upright beside me, her slime flicking angrily, breathing harsh. Get away from her, she spat. Jazareth's eyes flicked to her amusement. Flicked to her? Flicked? No, I'm just clicking around the Twitches and you didn't have 30 viewers yet. So now I can come when you're famous, I can be like, no, you can. Absolutely. Please do that. Please come back and be like, I knew that one when she was small. That's very nice. Glanced over to her amusement. Evident. So this is the infamous Toxine, he said slightly. My partner wants to hang out. It's been very fun listening to you. Story is so fun too. Can't wait till next time. Yay! I'm so glad you like it. Go have some fun partner hangout. It's really important. Mr. Cottontail, that's cute. She didn't need you, Toxine snapped. She has me. He smirked. And yet... No, nothing. We are the itty bitty kitty committee. And yet, he replied, smirking back at me. She rang the bell. Their gazes locked, anger and challenge crackling like lightning. Well, Jezerath said, stretching his wings, looks like we're properly introduced now, I swallowed hard. My heart raced. That day had already been far too much, and it was only a little after midnight. This was probably where her patience snapped. She started to snarl, her hands stretching and reshaping into two large curved blades, making herself almost as tall as him. The metal-like sheen on them caught the light as she lowered her stance, ready to pounce. Jezerath didn't move and kept his eyes fixed on Toxine. She lunged. The first strike was clean and fast, but he stepped aside, barely turning his body as the blade cut through empty air. The second came immediately after, sharper, fueled by his frustration rather than strategy. Toxine pressed forward, attacking again and again, her movements growing heavier with each swing. The earlier fight was catching up to her. Her footing wasn't as steady as she wanted it to be. Jezerath finally caught one of her wrists mid-strike. What? How? You shouldn't be able to grab me. I set my density to 0. She growled angrily, clearly unsettled. She tried to wrench herself free, but her arm trembled. That's tall. Yes, very tall. What are we talking? Tall. Tall good. You seem exhausted. Not used to the underworld magic, he said, cocky. Her eyes burned with hatred. She twisted hard enough to slip from his grip, only to stumble back a bit. She couldn't hold her form anymore and slid back into her regular shape, just slightly taller than me. That was when I decided to butt in. Stop, both of you. I stepped between them before Toxine could recklessly launch herself forward again. We just survived another attack. This is not the time to be fooling around. Silence hung heavy in the air, and Jezerath lowered his hand. Toxine stood there, blade still formed, breathing unevenly. She looked at him, really looked at him, and for the first time it was obvious. Someone else was stronger, and she knew it. Her jaw tightened. With a sharp click of her tongue, the blades dissolved, and she crossed her arms in annoyance. After we all had finally calmed down, Toxine retreated back within me, completely exhausted. Jezerath carried me back to camp, where Macy was asleep, safe and unaware of the chaos that had unfolded. He decided to stay the rest of the night watching over us, firelight flickering softly across his features as he kept guard, making sure none of the dangers we stirred came looking for us. In the morning I woke to the quiet murmur of voices. Jezerath and Macy were talking in low tones, the early sunlight catching in his hair. Later on he told us he had decided to join our adventure, partly out of personal interest, and, as he so smudgely phrased it, for his own amusement. The days that followed blended together in the best way. The 4 of us spent the next month searching for that vampire hideout, traveling through forests and villages, facing small dangers side by side. We ran into trouble here and there, but we always handled it pretty well. Somewhere along the way, without me even realizing when it happened, Jezerath and I grew close. What started as teasing smiles and playful remarks turned into lingering glances, quiet conversations by the fire, and hands brushing just a little too long when he helped me up after a fight. He made me laugh when I was nervous. He stood just a little closer than necessary, and when he looked at me, it felt like I was the only person in the world. By the end of that month, there was no denying it anymore. We decided to start a relationship. Of course, Toxine absolutely despised the growing closeness between us. She grew sharper, more irritable, seizing every small opportunity to interrupt or criticize. At the time, I didn't understand her behavior, and told myself it was just her usual mean attitude, nothing more. Thank you for hydrates. I really need that. Thanks for Spout. And the last chapter. It's perfect. We only have half an hour left. That's amazing. It's already so fucking late. Thank God I'm off tomorrow. Chapter 15. To be, not to become. Jezerath had to return home to take care of some unfinished business in the underworld. He didn't tell me much about it, just that it was something only he could handle. And honestly, politics aren't my strong suit. Before he left, he made sure I understood how to use the bell properly. He took it from my hands and turned it between his fingers like it was something fragile. Don't ring it in a panic, he told me. Oh, a broom just fell over. Not sure I like that. Focus and properly draw the pentagram on any surface available. I listened carefully. The last time I had used it, I definitely wasn't calm. He then placed it back into my palm and closed my fingers around the bell carefully. If you need me, I'll come, he said quietly, placing a kiss on my hand. But try not to get into trouble just for an excuse to see me again. I know, I said, smiling despite myself. Then his expression shifted, almost serious. I'll come back, he promised, and turned to Macy. You won't get rid of me that easily, Miss Leadon. Tuxine was unusually quiet during all of this. I could imagine her relief to hear Jazerath finally leave. She didn't make a single sharp remark, which somehow felt worse than if she had. I felt very back and forth between the both of them at times. When Jazerath finally left in a flicker of a flame, the forest felt emptier. So the three of us continued on our own. He hadn't even been gone that long, and yet I already found myself glancing over my shoulder, as if he might suddenly reappear with that smug smile. I missed him. Macy was frantically staring at the drawn map we had gotten, turning and tossing it as she scanned the surrounding area. God damn it. I'm afraid to say this, ladies, but we are officially lost, she muttered with a heavy sigh while turning in a slow circle, comparing the trees, the rocks, anything that might resemble the crude markings on the parchment. We've been walking through this area for the past 3 days, and there's nothing that even hints at a hideout, she added, frustration creeping into her voice. With an annoyed huff, she stuffed the map back into her pocket. I heard her swear under her breath. Hold up, I need to write something down. And at this point, Caitlin is 18. Chapter 15. Katie is now 18 years old. Yeah. For a moment, none of us said anything. The forest felt wide and endless. So, I finally said, shifting my weight. What do we do now? Macy rubbed her temples. We either retrace our steps again and risk wasting even more time, or we keep going and hope to stumble into something useful. Which didn't sound too comforting. We can't just wander blindly, I said. There has to be something we're missing on the map, no? Macy glanced around again, uncertainty written all over her face. For the first time in a while, Macy didn't have a plan. It almost looked like she was about to give up. We then sank down onto a fallen log, exhausted from walking in circles. Macy unfolded the map again, though it didn't seem to help much. I didn't want to push too hard, so I let her frown in silence for a moment, playing with the grass on the ground. Finally, I spoke. You never told us how you met Jazerath back then. I thought a different topic might lighten the mood and tension. Macy glanced at me, her expression softening slightly. Yeah, I never gotten the chance to, huh? She said quietly. Long before you guys and I ever met, of course. I tilted my head, curious. I'm listening. She let out a small sigh, her fingers fiddling with the corner of the map. Back when I was learning to control my powers and find out who I was, he showed up while I was trying to learn the magic of creating portals. Honestly, I didn't trust him at all. He had a reputation for being difficult. She smirked faintly. And he is difficult. But he's clever. It always seems like he's 3 steps ahead of everyone else. I raised my eyebrow. Yeah, that does sound like him. Did you end up learning to make portals? I said, trying not to sound too eager, but she shook her head. He has this trustworthiness, she continued. Like he's silly and goofy, but in a way you can't help being drawn to. And he knows exactly how to push people's button to get what he wants. Her eyes flickered towards the sky, as if recalling some distant memory. He helped me when I was stuck. Taught me a few things I wouldn't have learned otherwise. Jazerath really was something else. I'd only known him for a short while, but even in that time he'd made me feel things I didn't expect. Safe, nervous, excited, all at once. He's complicated, but he means well, Macy added, almost as an afterthought. I laughed quietly, more to myself than anything. Yeah, I think I relate a little. Macy smiled faintly and shook her head. Don't let him get under your skin too much. He's trouble. I think I like trouble, I whispered, mostly to myself. Thanks, Redbud. Our conversation got interrupted abruptly. The sound of rustling leaves caught our attention, and a tall, pale white woman stepped out from behind the bushes, moving gracefully between the trees. She raised her hand slowly, a gentle wave, to show us she meant no harm. Macy stood up immediately, reaching for the axe strapped to her back, ready to defend. The woman paused a few feet away, letting wings on her lower back unfold slightly. She tilted her head, a soft, warm smile on her face. Short, rose-colored hair flowing in the wind. Oh, please don't be afraid. She said in a gentle and melodic voice, trying to make herself smaller by leaning down a little. And she was tall. I mean you no harm. Macy's grip on her axe remained firm, eyes narrowing. Who are you and what do you want? She said cautiously. The woman stuttered a little. I, actually have been watching you three, or sometimes four, a while now. A couple days, actually. The woman said carefully, taking a slow step forward. You seem a bit lost. I thought I might help you. I know my way around a little. She seemed very nervous and stuttered her words a little. I blinked, caught between awe and disbelief. Horns shimmered faintly in the dappled sunlight, and the staff she held looked both elegant and alive. It had leaves and vines wrapped around it. Tuxine shifted uneasily inside me. Great, another person who's going to hover around us, she muttered, finally aware and back with us. I stepped a little closer, curiosity bubbling. You can fly? I asked, still amazed. I've never seen this creature before. She giggled softly, like wind through leaves. Yes, I can. And I know these woods very well. You're fortunate I happened to find you when I did. Macy's stance softened slightly, though she kept her axe ready. I couldn't help but feel a little lighter standing near her. Even Tuxine stayed unusually quiet, as if sensing her kind energy. It was like she was radiating safety and comfort. Well, how rude of me. Let me properly introduce myself, she said in that soft, careful voice. My name is Lydia. I am a Manuvian healer. She bowed slightly, tilting her head in a peaceful gesture. Wait, a Manuvian? Macy said, clearly surprised. Aren't you guys supposed to be up in Etheria? Lydia's expression shifted into something that looked almost embarrassed. She gave a small, sheepish chuckle and tugged her hair behind her ear. Yes, we usually are. She avoided our gazes and began fiddling with the leaves on her staff. Things have been a little tense up there, and, I decided to seek some shelter here on Terra until everything calms down a little. She said it shyly, like she was worried we might judge her. Huh, so even holy beings don't get constant peace, Macy said, amused. This was the first time I'd ever heard of something called Etheria. My eyes practically sparkled. What's Etheria? I asked, nearly tripping over my own words. It's kind of the opposite of the underworld, where Jazarath is, Macy explained. Think heaven and hell, but without all the religion stuff. Lydia nodded softly. It is a realm above the skies, she said gently. All right then, Macy said. You're guiding. I blinked. Wait, what? I was confused about her sudden decision. Normally, Macy isn't quick to trust strangers. Do we just trust her like this? I asked carefully, tugging Macy's sleeve, trying not to sound too rude. She nodded without hesitation. Manuvians are extremely trustworthy beings. Their entire clan is built around loyalty and sacred oaths. They go so far as to ban members who break their trusts. The moment she said that, I noticed Lydia stiffen. Her fingers tightened around her staff, and her wings drooped down a little. Well, she said, barely above a whisper, actually, Macy and I both turned to her. I may have lied. The air felt heavier instantly. I didn't leave to seek shelter, Lydia continued, each word quieter than the last. I was indeed banned. Macy's expression hardened, not angry, but cautious. For what? She asked. Lydia swallowed hard. I was chosen to become our clan's next high healer, she said quietly. That's not a small title, I butted in. No, she whispered, it is not. The wind moved softly through the trees, brushing her hair across her face. She didn't move to fix it. In Etheria, becoming the clan's healer is not simply a role, it is a lifelong vow. You surrender personal desire, you surrender attachment, you surrender yourself to everyone else. Her voice trembled as she tried to explain herself. You become like a pillar, a constant, a sacred certainty. Macy crossed her arms. So what happened exactly? She asked. Lydia's eyes dropped to the ground. The ceremony was to be held under the constellation spring. My family, my entire clan, had prepared me for it since I was a child. Generations trusted that I would uphold that vow. Her wings shifted faintly, feathers brushing together in a nervous motion. And I ran. Her words barely made it out. With pain in my heart, I watched her explain. Chosen to be something you aren't. Well, doesn't that seem familiar to me? I know this sounds stupid to you guys, and I'm so sorry I lied before. I feel like such a disappointment. I totally understand if you want me to leave. She rushed out frantically. In Manuvian culture, Macy said carefully, running from a sacred vow is considered betrayal. Lydia nodded ashamed. You didn't prove you weren't strong, I said. Both of them looked at me. If you were that scared, I continued, trying to untangle my thoughts, then maybe becoming their pillar would have broken you. Isn't it worse to stand in a position like that and secretly be falling apart? Lydia's eyes widened slightly. For a moment, no one moved. She just stood there, wings slightly drooped, like she was bracing herself for rejection, tears forming in her forest green eyes. Before I could overthink it, I stepped forward and hugged her. Her staff slipped slightly in her grip as my arms wrapped around her waist. She was so much taller than me, a lot taller. You're not a disappointment, I said into her robe. You're just you. Her breath hitched softly, making my ear twitch. I get it, I continued quietly. Sometimes people decide who you're supposed to be before you even get the chance to figure it out yourself. I've been there. My fingers tightened slightly in the fabric. And it's exhausting. Past memories were going through my head, and I held back a tear. It's okay to want to be who you are, I said. Not just what everyone expects you to be. Lydia's hands hesitated, then slowly, carefully, she hugged me back, one hand on my head. Her scent was like cotton candy and feathers in a well-made bed. Her voice trembled. Thank you. Macy watched us quietly for a moment, then she sighed. She's right, Macy said. Running before making a vow you can't keep isn't weakness, it's self-awareness. She uncrossed her arms. And honestly, a healer who understands doubt is probably better than one who pretends they don't have any, she said while placing her hand on Lydia's shoulder. Even Macy wasn't as tall as her. Lydia pulled back slightly, eyes glossy. You're not angry? She asked softly, to confirm. Macy shrugged. You lied. I don't like that. Bold move for a Manuvian. Then her expression softened just a little. But you corrected yourself, and that counts. The tension in in Lydia. Visibly eased. And, Macy added practically, a professional healer and some backup would be very useful right now. She gestured vaguely at the forest around us. We're lost. We have no clear direction, and Jezreel had to leave. Then she looked at Lydia directly. If you're willing to guide us, lend us an aiding hand, then I don't see a reason to turn you away. Lydia looked between the two of us like she couldn't quite believe it. I would be honored, she said softly. I haven't had someone to talk to for a good while now. And that's it. That's all for today. My poor back. Wow. I'm gonna have fun keep writing this. This is gonna be very fun. Everybody still there or falling asleep? Totally don't mind if you guys are sleeping. Sleeping, eeping, peeping. Ugh. It is insanely warm in here. I need to air out this place in a minute or two. Whoopty whoopty. There we go. Hot. What a day, and so much I got done. That is so fucking good. I read my own lore up until now. And now I get to continue. I'm so excited. Bomboklat. I feel like everybody's almost asleep. Oh man, I'm gonna call it a day now. To everybody that is still here, thank you so much for being here. I will go and raid a living lake now, so yeah. I will be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll be playing some Minecraft. Maybe even the cat game. I'm not sure yet. At this point, I don't know why I'm writing a schedule if I'm not upholding it. But it's okay. Yeah. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, and hi Shark Miki. I'm about to leave. I'm so sorry. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for popping by. But I'm gonna send everybody over to Shelly now. And yeah, but I'm back tomorrow. Bye bye.